Justice with Judge Mablean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I'll make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Zelda Miller is suing Wes Richmond in the amount of $490. Ms. Miller claims Mr. Richmond's dogs damaged her car after they chased him to her car. Mr. Richmond claims Ms. Miller was aware of his dog's poor behavior and says she should have let him into her car to help save him from harm. Mr. Richmond is countersuing for $180.
In the matter of Zelda Miller versus Wes Richmond, Ms. Miller, you have a claim for $490 for damages to your car. And Mr. Richmond, you have a counterclaim against her for $180. And it was for your medical bill?
That's right, Your Honor.
All right. And your contention is that she should have allowed you into her car.
Absolutely.
When a dog was attacking you.
2 dogs.
2 dogs.
One of them named Blister, so.
Okay. Ms. Miller, talk to me.
Okay, so like you said, Your Honor, I am suing Wes for $490 damages to my car done by his 2 dogs, or 2 dogs that were under his care at the time. And just a little backstory, we are neighbors. I moved into Wes's neighborhood right next to him. About a week before our classes started, I met him on the day that I moved.
College students?
Yes, I'm an undergrad junior year.
Okay. And I understand you're a graduate student.
Graduate, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that was a common interest we had on the day we met. He came over and introduced himself. We started talking, just basic introductions, and that whole week after we first moved in, my roommate kept bugging me saying that he liked me, that he had been flirting with me the whole time we were talking, and I just disregarded it. I don't think of Wes in that way. No, not at all.
You didn't feel it?
I didn't feel it, and I just recently gotten over a breakup, so it wasn't on my mind.
Whoops, were you flirting with him?
No, Your Honor. Absolutely not.
Stop lying. Go on.
But we did get along. We hung out for coffee a couple of times because I was new to the neighborhood. He would introduce me to some friends. And a couple of weeks into the semester, Wes tells me he is inheriting these 2 dogs from his brother. He wasn't excited about it. He said the dogs really only behaved for his brother, and they were large dogs, fairly large dogs. I do have a picture.
Dobermans.
2 Dobermans? How did you inherit them?
My brother was on assignment in London for 6 months, and
in the military?
No.
Oh.
He's a journalist.
A journalist, okay. And you had to take care of the dogs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, you were reluctant. Why?
Well, these are the kind of dogs that don't like to listen to anyone except for their owner.
Vicious-looking animals. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Blister and Kyle, huh?
Yes.
And they don't listen to anybody but him?
That's right.
Are you living in a house or an apartment?
I'm living in a house.
Oh, so at least you had a backyard for them.
Yes.
All right. So what happened on the day in question?
Now, I'm getting into my car, and I'm about to go to the library. It's kind of early evening, and just as I shut my car door, I see Wes just tearing out from around his house, just running towards my car. And just behind him, I see the 2 dogs.
Ooh.
And yeah, so he's
the dogs
screaming.
are chasing you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow.
And so he comes running towards my car, and I'd only unlocked just the driver's door because I was the only one getting in. And all of a sudden, he's at my car door pulling on the passenger door, which is locked so he can't get in. And he's banging on the door, let me in, let me in. And I was like, no, because they were right there. I thought, no, if I let you in, they're going to get in and bite me. And I had expressed to him before then, after he got in the dogs, I didn't want anything to do with them because they would growl at me. They never attacked or anything, but they weren't very nice dogs. Right. They didn't like anybody. So I wouldn't let him in. I kept screaming, go back to your house, go.
So you really thought she should open the car door and let you in?
No.
Well,
with the dogs on your heel?
Your Honor, I was on very familiar terms with Zelda. I thought that she was there, she would be able to help me because I was in a bad situation.
Wait. What? So what's your theory that she should have opened the door?
So I go up to the car, and I'm checking in. I'm really hoping that she's going to open the door for me. She starts signaling to me, pointing, mouthing things, and I might have run off if she weren't trying to say something to me. I can't hear her. The window's closed.
Oh, come on now.
So- I
was
You were
pointing
trying.
like
She was telling you to go somewhere else. You saw her. She was telling you she wasn't opening that door.
No, I was confused. I thought maybe
Oh,
she was.
come on. You're knocking on the door trying to get in, and she's not unlocking the door.
No, I was absolutely confused. I seriously thought that she was trying to explain something to me about maybe how to open the door properly or whatever.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
Regardless of why, your butt was protected.
Well, luckily, yes, I didn't get bitten on my butt.
And later,
But Mr. Jones is saying, I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Justice with Judge Mablean. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Zelda Miller, who is suing West Richmond for property damage.
Why are you suing him for damages to your car?
Because the dogs would not have attacked my car had he not run towards my car. I was in my yard, in my driveway. The dogs would not have been anywhere near me.
What
if
did the
he-
dogs do to your car?
They
They
scratched-
start jumping,
They
clawing on
scratched
the...
at my door, yes. After they attacked him and started biting him, as they were scratching on him, they were getting my door as well.
Were you at least calling 911?
I started to, but I mean, he was clearly in distress. And I remember that he had told
You
me.
started to, and dogs are attacking, and you didn't even call 911?
I didn't think they'd have time, so what I did do, I got out of the car. Just,
Wait a minute, what do you mean you didn't think they'd have time to attack him?
No, I didn't think 911 would have time to get there before
Oh.
they'd done real damage.
Okay.
So I got out of the car, and I remembered the only way that they would really respond to anyone is if they thought that someone had a treat in their hand. So I got out the driver's side while they were on him and grabbed a rock that was small enough to fit into my fist and started waving it to get their attention and threw it. And when I threw the rock, they ran after it and got off of him.
Your Honor, she got out and did this after, I don't know, like 10 seconds of
Well,
these
she got
dogs.
him off of you.
Yeah, but this was after
She got him off of you. Say thank you. Come on now. She came up with something more ingenious than what you were doing. Her logic kicked in a lot faster than yours. She remembered that the dogs would run after things that they thought they were getting a treat. So she at least used some logical thinking and did something to thwart your danger. Don't you say thank you?
Well, I would say thank you if I didn't think she was just trying to protect her own car. in
No,
this
he
situation.
yelled at me.
Even if she's trying to protect her car, so what? It protected you. What does it matter to you why she threw the rock? What does it matter to you what was going through her head as opposed to the fact that she got those dogs off you?
Your Honor, in the
There
context...
you go again with that illogical reasoning. If I thought she was just trying to protect her car, I'd say thank you. Come on now, regardless of why, your butt was protected.
Well, luckily, yes, I didn't get bitten on my butt.
Right. Or your face.
I did have stitches on my face,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
But they didn't maul you to death.
He doesn't even have any scars.
Wow. So it caused damage to your car with the dogs all over it.
It did. It
So
scratched
tell
up my
your
car.
brother to send you the money. It's his wild dogs. How much was it? Where's the proof of the
It
damage?
was. I have two estimates here, but I went with the lower one. I asked him for $490, which was the lower estimate, and he refused because he said they wouldn't have damaged my car had I opened the door, which they would have.
And they
would
could have
still
jumped
scratch
up in the car and attacked both of you.
Your Honor, there's plenty of opportunity to, help me out here in a pretty simple
Oh,
way.
you know what? If you don't stop sounding all idiotic like that, honey, I'm going to ask them to dismiss you from graduate school.
Okay, so, Your Honor,
What graduate school you going to? Because you making it a mockery.
there is a Good Samaritan law that states
What's the Good
when,
Samaritan law?
when I'm on somebody's property and they're in a relatively simple way to help me, especially given the history of our interaction together.
did help
We're
you.
friends. And she knew very well that, I wasn't going to hurt her if she let me in her car.
And what's that Good Samaritan law say?
That if I'm on her property and she's in a position to help me in a situation of danger, that she's legally obligated to do so.
Where's that law written? Legally obligated?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's not the Good Samaritan law. The Good Samaritan law says if I see you in danger and I choose to help you out of the danger and I get hurt as a result of that, that you don't have to pay for my harm. Or or I can recover it. I don't know, Good Samaritan law, you had to put yourself in danger to help somebody else? Where you read that law?
Your Honor, I
Did you read something that said that?
yes.
Show it to me. Show me the Good Samaritan law that you read that said that.
I don't have it on me, Your Honor.
I know you don't, because it doesn't exist. That is not the Good Samaritan law. I am not obligated to help anyone. I'm not. That's why it's called Good Samaritan, because when you do it out of the goodness of your heart, because you choose to do so. He is obligated to help you if he sees you in danger, because he takes an oath as an officer to do that 24/7. He is obligated to take a risk because he agreed to do that when he put on that uniform. I'm not obligated to take a risk for your behalf, and nobody else's, unless I choose to. That's the Good Samaritan law. If I choose to do it, and harm comes to you as a result thereof, you can't sue me.
Well, Your Honor,
Your Honor, nothing. You sound like, the more and more you talk, come on now, physics. You keep studying science, honey, but you got to add a logic class, and you got to add a sociology class, and you need to add a psychology class, and you need to add some type of class where you interact with people, because you have a misconception of what people should do for you. She should risk her life with those dogs mauling her to let you in. And then what would you do if the dogs attacked her?
I definitely would have helped her in any way she needed right off the bat.
Right.
That's the kind of friendship that we had.
Defendant's counterclaim is denied. That's your hospital bill. She owes you no responsibility for that. It's foolishness. The plaintiff's claim for $490 is granted. You do owe her that, and you can get it from your brother because it was his dogs. But they were in your custody and care. Judgment for the plaintiff, $490.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $490.
Those dogs were under your care, so they're your responsibility. When I get my car fixed, I hope we can at least be civil again.
I still think you had all the time in the world to help me, but I guess I need to work on training my brother's Dobermans.
Coming up.
But Mr. Jones is saying, I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Jeremy Jones is suing Leo Charles in the amount of $500. Mr. Jones claims Mr. Charles docked his pay because of technical difficulties that he had no control over. Mr. Charles claims the plaintiff breached his contract and ruined a big meeting the company had via the internet with China.
The matter of Jeremy Jones versus Leo Charles. Mr. Jones, you're asking that Mr. Charles pay you $500, which you allege is unpaid wages for an IT project you were to do for him. And Mr. Charles, you're claiming that he did not complete the project. So I hope you're able to explain to this judge, who's not an IT person. All right?
All right. Well, first off, my name is Jeremy Jones, and I met the individual, per se, Mr. Charles, various IT conferences. His regular IT guy, he was unable to attend that conference. So me and Mr. Charles, we actually spoke and talked about maybe having an agreement where I would consult and possibly take over for his lead IT guy. He had an upcoming video conference. He also runs, his company is a children's gaming company, and he had an important video conference set up.
And he's having a video conference with whom?
With, I guess it's his distributor, I think.
With whom you had a video conference?
It's a potential client outside of the U.S.
All right. So you were supposed to set up this video conference?
Yes, Your Honor.
With a potential investor?
Yes, ma'am.
In your gaming business?
That's correct.
All right, now what happened?
I went in, I actually set up the equipment myself. Mr. Charles, he joined me on that test. He arrived around 8:30 a.m. Everything was working at optimal connection. I had got a call during that time frame. I told Mr. Charles that I would return.
And you left?
Yes, I have, like I told him, I have other clients as well, and there was another client that needed me.
Okay, so you left, and you, as far as your testimony is,
Yes.
everything was set and in place when you
Yes.
left at 9.
And working.
Operating properly.
Yes.
Okay.
Coming up.
But Mr. Jones is saying, I did everything that I was supposed to do.
You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Jeremy Jones, who is suing Leo Charles for breach of contract.
What did he not do properly?
The modem went down is the terminology that he used.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So the modem went down. So is that his fault, or is that something beyond his control?
Well, that's
The
what I
man
hired
tells me
this
I
gentleman
connected
for.
all of those things. I connected everything that was absolutely necessary for that video conference. And you cannot refute that.
No, ma'am, but that's what I hired this gentleman for. If I possessed all that information, why would I employ this
Okay, so
gentleman?
what happened?
I was unable to hear the other person on the other end of the line, which was overseas. Therefore, the account fell through.
So you cannot say definitely that the equipment was not working properly at 9 a.m. when he left, or that it was working properly at 9 a.m. when he left, because you didn't check it.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, why do you say he owes you $500 as opposed to $1,000? Because he said $1,000 a month for monthly retainer. How you get to $500?
No, Your Honor, that check was actually the check that he sent me a week later after the conference took place. That's why we're here today. I'm
Oh,
suing
because
for
he
the
paid you
remaining-
$5,
Yes,
and you're saying he owed you $1,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Why are you paying $5 if he didn't do his job?
I felt like partial payment was in line. He did fulfill some obligations. I did render some services from him. However, he did not meet the full contractual
How do you tell me that
obligations.
it was his fault, that it was something that he did not do that caused the problem, or something that he did do that was done incorrectly?
I have a text message for evidence if you would like to see
From
where
whom?
Mr. Jones, where I texted Mr. Jones and he reassured me that he was capable and able to fulfill what we've discussed.
But Mr. Jones is saying, I did everything that I was supposed to do.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
What went wrong, why you couldn't hear, I don't know. You're not telling me that something was done incorrectly that was his fault. Now, maybe there was a power outage in your facility between 9 and 10:30. Maybe one of your employees came in there and touched something between 9 and 10:30. Maybe the equipment was moved around between 9 and 10:30. You haven't told me it's his fault. You haven't given me evidence that it was his fault. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $500.
Leo, my apologies that your conference call didn't take place, bro. It was a hardware issue. I can't control internet connection.
Regardless of the hardware issue, it's your job to be there and make sure stuff like this doesn't happen, and you weren't there.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.